how long, if someone wants to do some sort of social arbitrage investing, should they research something before they actually make a move?
So I sometimes the top of the funnel where I find something on TikTok and I'm
The
like,
discovery.
oh, the
Yeah.
discovery is very exciting. As you find it and you're like, wow. Once you discover something, then you have to vet it. You have to make sure that it's real. So I will look at Google Trend data to see, are people searching for that thing? I will look at web stats data. I will go to the stores where they sell that product and start talking to clerks and verify, hey, show me your hottest product, and see if they're going to tell me the thing I think they're going to tell me, right?
And on
so
that real quick, did they ever ask you like why? And you tell, I want to make an investment.
Yeah,
So
what I try not to lie. I'm not like comfortable lying to people, so I tell them that I'm doing research. Like I'm just doing research. Like I do trend research. I'm like, hey, I'm a trend researcher, which is true for my investment.
But that's never led into a conversation of them being like, maybe I should invest.
No.
If they do, it's one.
No.
A few $100
I'm just saying that would be interesting.
These are clerks that sort. Do you remember when Under Armour started making their, what do you call their undershirt,
the tighter thing?
Yeah. That was like 7, 8, 9, 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Cold gear. Remember the cold gear? Under Armour started making cold gear. That first winter that they were making cold gear, it happened to be a really cold winter, and I went to the Under Armour store because I had seen that people were talking about this everywhere. I went to the Under Armour stores and the outlet stores, and I'll never forget it. I asked the guy at the store, I'm like, are people buying this, this cold gear? He's like, sir, he goes, we have never experienced anything like this in the history of the company. It is crazy. We cannot keep stock of it. We're manufacturing as much as we can make. I'm like, thank you very much. I remember coming out of that Under Armour store. I remember the outlet mall I was at and calling Jordan and Dave on the phone and being like, dude, we are going all in on Under Armour today. I was like, wow. The market was already closed, but I was like, tomorrow morning we were going all in on Under Armour. But so you want to when you get in a trade heavy, you want to leave nothing on the table. You want to make sure anything that you can investigate to prove your thesis. I call it in my book, you have a thesis. My thesis is that this thing is going to really benefit this company this quarter. But that's a thesis, right? You have to prove out the thesis. So anywhere where you can pull data, speak to people, interview people, you got to get all the data you can. And so what's really cool about having a community now, when Dumb Money, when I find something, I'll just share it with them. Be like, guys, I found this. Poke holes in my thesis or help me prove my thesis. And now to be part of a community of investment nerds that think the way you do, first of all, it makes it more fun because I'm not a loner. My whole life I've been a loner investor, the weird investing kid. No one else invested like me. You have all these technical traders, the technical traders, they're like a class of their own. They all relate. I don't relate to them at all. Wall Street traders that are fundamental traders that analyze spreadsheets, that analyze that's boring as crap to me. I never want to do that. I don't relate to those guys at all. Reading comments on TikTok videos and looking for trends and connecting dots to the next big thing, that is freaking fun as hell. I would do this for free without making money. The fact that I'm able to make this much money doing this, I'm watching TikTok videos and that's my job. It's just watching TikTok videos and reading comments. And it's pretty cool because you feel a really deep connection to the world and culture because I'm reading literally thousands of comments a night. So I'm reading what all the youth is speaking about, what everyone's speaking about from every demographic, no matter who you are, what you look like, where you live in the world. I have a really good sense at how people are feeling, what they're doing, what they're liking. And it feels good to be that attached to the world, but it's my profession. But it's kind of fun.
How do you know if you're late to something? Because you talking about this has got me running through my mind of all the things that I'm thinking that I've noticed that people my age and younger are gravitating towards. And the one that really stood out to me, it's in the refrigerator over here, is Fairlife protein shakes.
Yeah, that is.
And I'm like, my gosh, for the last year, we have been obsessed with these Fairlife protein shakes.
That's been
They're
big
so
for
good.
5-6 years.
But
dude.
Exactly, so I'm late to it. So that
you are
wouldn't be a
definitely
thing.
late to it. But also when it comes to milk products, Believe me, I've had numerous opportunities to trade. It's dairy. It's you can't trade dairy in the public markets right now. It's very difficult. I've had numerous opportunities to trade dairy. I've considered trading like commodities. Like you just can't do it. So there's no way to trade that stuff.
Here's another one that I found interesting is that about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, Macy's been a big fan of Starbucks. Yeah. She stopped going to Starbucks, and she complained that the prices were too high, and she instead started going to Dutch Bros.
Dude.
And Dutch Bros started popping up everywhere in Vegas, and they were paying an absurd amount price per square foot for these little retail kiosk sort of places. And I was thinking to myself back then, I'm like, if she's doing this, not going to Starbucks, how many other people are preferring Dutch Bros?
Dude, you don't watch our show enough, Graham. That's been a storyline on our show for years, Dutch Bros. And the Starbucks short, the great Starbucks short this year. That was one of my biggest trades of the year, the Starbucks short. Yeah,
So I'm on the right track.
You're absolutely on this.
I'm 2 years late.
Timing is everything. So you're organically seeing things through your life, and that's great. We live in a digital world now. What's really cool is that you don't know if things are going to hit you a week late, a month late, a year late, 5 years late. But if you're proactively reading thousands of comments every day of your life, you're going to pick up on that stuff the second it happens, right? And so I'm being proactive where you're being reactive, which, by the way, there are a lot of opportunities to invest just by being reactive because a lot of times you'll see it first by chance because someone in your life, it could be Macy, just by chance, you're seeing it quickly. But I don't want to take a chance. I want to see it quickly every time. But to answer your question, what you just asked is the hardest part of my process. Trying to discern the degree to which that information that you discovered is already well known by the investing public is a little bit of an art and a science. So what you do is you have to leave the real world and go into the investment world, where people talk about stocks on stock boards and Seeking Alpha and analyst reports and news stories. And anywhere where someone is talking about that stock, you read everything. You read every quarterly report going back multiple quarters. You want to see if there's any mentions about that thing that is part of your thesis. So if your thesis is that Starbucks is becoming too expensive and therefore people are not going to Starbucks anymore and they're switching brands, to what degree are investors aware of that? Are they talking about that? And are they deciding to sell their Starbucks or short it because of that? To what degree do sell-side analysts talk about that in their reports? To what degree has the company admitted that? So it's not a black or white thing. There are a lot of gray areas, and it's the toughest part because people are like, oh, when do you sell? You sell when you hit information parity. Well, how do you know? You don't always know. You just have a feel for it. You're like, okay, I think people kind of know what I knew, so I'm going to maybe sell half, right? Once you know for sure that the world knows about this, you're out of the investment. And it doesn't matter if you made money, lost money, what the stock did. I only trade information. I don't trade stock price. I just trade information.